Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaye Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Nama Pranavataye Shuddha Jnanaikamurtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaye Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshushrotramato Balavindriyani Cha Sarvani.
Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vakpranashchakshushrotramatho Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani
Sarvam Brahmopanishadam
Sarvam
Sarvam
Brahmopanishadam
Brahmopanishadam
Aham Brahma Nirakuryam
Ma
Maham
Brahma
Brahma
Nirakuryat
Nirakuryam
Ama Brahma Nirakarot
Ma
Maham
Brahma
Brahma
Nirakarot
Nirakarot
Nirakaranamastvanirakaranam me astu.
Anirakaranamastu Nirakaranam
Nirakarame
Astu
Astu
Tadatmani nirateya upanishatsu dharmaste mayi santu. Te mayi
Tadatvari Nirateya
Upanishatsu
Upanishad
dharmaste mayi santu te mayi santu
Te Mai Santo Om
Shanti
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 Shanti Shanti Shanti.
In every Upanishad, broadly, there are two portions. One which talks about ways and means. You do this, you get the result. That includes Nachiketa Agnihi. And there is a second portion, which is pure Jnanam. There's nothing to do, but both have completely different Anubandha Chatushtaya. We were studying that yesterday. The Karma Kanda, the first of the Anubandha Chatushtaya is Vishaya. The Vishaya there is Karma. We understand how to do different types of karma, which is relevant to us. And the second is the prayojanam. What is the benefit one may expect to gain if you do that karma, the ritual, as prescribed? Like Nachiketa Agnihi, if you do it exactly the way you're supposed to do, Yamadharmaraja is supposed to given to Nachiketa very detailed instructions. How to construct the Homakundam, how many bricks are required, what shape it should have, everything. Then, what will be the result of Nachiketa Agnihi? Vargaloka Praptihi, when the body falls. Like that, every Ichha that we have, all the human Ichha, human desire, are classified into three things. Vittaishana. Aishana means Ichha, desire. Putraishana and Lokaishana. The Vittaishana is anything to do with wealth, materials, and so on. Putraishana, as the word indicates, is what you want to leave behind: name, fame, progeny. And Lokeshana is the desire to go to other lokas after the fall of the body. So I want to go to Swargaloka, or I want to go to other lokas. This desire is a necessary starting point for doing any karma. Without the desire for that, we don't do the karma. So, a requirement in terms of adhikaritvam is a desire to gain something. And the beauty is that karma kanda in every one of these Vedas tells us whatever it is that you want to gain, here is the method. You follow this like this, you will get the result. It's a fantastic thing.
हे चांगलंच पाणी आहे.
You know,
त्याच्यामध्ये
can you put it on mute, Padmashri, please? Thank you. So somebody came up and said, who is the latest heartthrob in the Bollywood film industry? Let's say Katrina Kaif. Can I get a date with Katrina Kaif? Does it tell me how to do that? It not specifically tell you that, but it will tell you how to get to a state where you can get that. But the problem is, Katrina Kaif also has certain desires, and that does not include a date with you. Salman Khan couldn't get it. How can you get it? Yeah. You can. Provided she also wants, because there are two people involved here. But you can get almost anything you want, and there are methods prescribed for it. You should be an adhikari. You should have, in this case, you're not an adhikari. So desire is one thing. The second qualification you must have is Shraddha. Unless you are sure you accept Veda and say the Veda says so, it will happen. Unless you have that kind of Shraddha, it is not, Shraddha is loosely translated many times as faith. Not faith, it is more than faith. Faith, trust, whatever else, confidence. It is the certainty that what is said here has to be read. In Tamil, in many homes, they will say, if something is asked for, they will say, why should I do it? In the Sakshathra Edirku, there is, it means, which Shastra says I should do it like this? There's so much in our culture, the absolute Shraddha in the Shastra, that if Shastra says so, it must be right. So Shraddha becomes extremely important. And the Sambandha is very clear. Between the Karma Kanda act that you'll be supposed to do and the Prayojanam, Sambandha is very clear. And the Sambandha will happen, the result will happen only after you have understood how to do it and actually do it. In most cases, we hand over the responsibility to a Pandit. Because we may not know all the rituals, but we sit there as a Yajamana, we do the Sankalpa, I want this, and hand it over the Pujari, and he does all the rituals. And we are sure that he knows. Therefore, we pick the right Pujari. So, Vishaya, Prayojanam, Sambandha, and Adhikaritvam. What about the second part, the end part of the Veda? There also we can examine this. And if you examine it carefully, you will find that none of these match. the adhikaritvam is not the same, the vishaya is not the same, the prayojanam is not the same. Sambandha is between this and this, and between this and this, there's no relationship at all. So when people say that what is the vishaya of the Vedanta, Vedanam Antah, at the end of each Veda, there is Vedanta, Upanishads. What is the Vishaya? Vishaya is you. It has nothing to do with karma. It has nothing to do with rituals. It has nothing to do with any other thing other than knowledge of the self, clear knowledge of the self. Atma Tattvam. And what is the Prayojanam? Where you in the Karma Kanda have a specific Prayojanam, you say, I want to be able to gain wealth, and therefore you do these rituals, you will gain wealth. Here, and that's a limited end. How much wealth can you get? And what of many other things that you want? Here, the prayojanam is moksha. Moksha is completeness, purnatvam. That means there is nothing else to gain. Once you have that, purnatvam, what else is there? There's nothing else. So, that is the prayojanam. Absolute fulfillment of the self, leaving no room for any other want. Whereas in the Karma Kanda, you get something, but you still have a lot of want. You want more of the same, you want something different. If we manage to get a date with Katrina Kaif, although the date doesn't go well, so again goes back and says, I want to do a ritual so that the next date goes well. There's no end to it. And all these desires, Veda puts them into three categories: Dharma, Artha, Kama. And whatever your desire is, will fit into one of these categories in the Karma Kanda. And something very interesting here. Nowhere else, no other religion, no other faith, no other any kind of teaching has dharma as a purushartha. It's amazing. Every human being wants to be a dharmi. They don't know. They are not dharmis many times because they don't know. And who teaches the dharma? What constitutes dharma? That is also known to everybody. Nobody has to teach you dharma. Very simple rule. Ahimsa paramo dharma. That means what? That you don't cause himsa to any other being, whether trees and plants, animals, or any other being. And whatever Vedas tell you should do, like you should feed another being before eating, but you certainly should not be causing harm to any other being. Who has to teach you this? There is no teacher required. Why? Because I know. I know what I want no other being to do to me. I know for a fact that I don't want to get hurt physically. I don't want to get hurt emotionally. I don't want to get hurt intellectually, being put down. The same principle should apply when my actions are concerned against other beings. As human beings, we know. Animals may not know. Animals are programmed. Animals are only programmed to survive. So if an animal, which is a carnivorous animal, attacks and kills another being and eats it up, kills it and eats it, That's why it's programmed. Should we also do that? Simple test. If somebody were to catch you and kill you, something you don't want, how can you justify doing it to another being? I know, I saw somebody telling one of the children coming here who used to like to eat fish. He's not going to eat fish anymore. So he said, I like fish. But the fish's mother will cry, no? Oh, maybe. Suppose somebody hurts you, how will your mother feel? My mother will be very unhappy. The fish's mother also will be unhappy. You don't want that happening. It's a life thing. I remember as children, we were told the same thing. You know, there some children have the habit of stamping on ants. You have Aishwaryam over the ant. Till it climbs up your leg, it bites you, if it's one of the biting variety. Then you go running to the mother. Something bit me, something bit me. Till then you have Aishwaryam, because it's small and you're big. And then the mother says, why do you do this? Suppose one giant came and squashed you, how would I feel? So really nobody has to teach you this. It is known to everybody. This dharma of not causing himsa and following Vedas in what it tells you to do. Avoid doing what is not to be done and to do what is to be done. Is dharma. And this is the only place where this is a purushartha, purushen arthyate, which people want as an end. Dharma is an end. Dharma also has another meaning, you know that. Dharma is punya papa. There also is an end. Most people who follow rituals, if you probe, they will say, only then can I go to Swargaloka after death. So that is the end. So two types of ends for dharma. One, by itself, it is a purushartha. Another, it is a means to the purushartha, which is to go to loka. Lokaishana. Now, compare each of these with the Vedanta portion. Here, karma is your Vishaya. There, you are the Vishaya. Knowledge of you. Self-knowledge. And here the prayojanam is limited to that act and the corresponding phala. Here, and not only that, in karma, you not only have to know what to do, but you should do it. In Vedanta, you only have to know, there's nothing to do. And the prayojanam is infinite. You become a person who is a not wanting person. Here you will always be a wanting person. You get this, you want something else, more of the same thing. That's the second difference. The prayojanam is extremely opposite, diametrically opposite. Sambandha is between the karma and the karma phala. Sambandha is here between jnanam and moksha. Because moksha is only jnanam. Understanding the self correctly is moksha. Many of the people who advocate karma as a means to moksha, when you get into a discussion with them, they will say Moksha is going to not only Svargaloka but Brahmaloka. But that's not necessary. Even if you go to Brahmaloka, you can come back. And the process is very tough. To maintain a lifestyle full of absolute dharma, to be able to do everything that you're supposed to do in your varna, in your ashrama, and maintain it without negative thoughts, negative actions, which will all put you to act. But the concept of moksha itself is another loka. And you know that if you do gain another loka, it is temporary. You'll come back. It's like these days it's very easy because India has become a exchange positive. You can get as much exchange as you want. In the 70s, when I used to travel, I used to get $20. That is all I get. At the end, back of the, if you look at my old passport, at the back, it says $20 given at the airport. And you're supposed to manage with that. So whatever exchange rate you get, you go wherever you need to go, that exhausts, you come back. And the exchange for going to other lokas is punya. Go there, exhaust it and come back. So it is not purnatvam. And what about adhikaritvam? Also very different. Except for one common factor in the adhikaritvam. What is the common factor? Shraddha. In karma kanda, like I said, you have to have a desire for a particular karma phala. And therefore you do the karma to gain that karma phala. In the Vedanta portion, Jnana Kanda, what is the corresponding thing? Vairagya. Opposite of what you say here. A desirelessness born of knowledge. A desirelessness born of viveka. Diametrically opposite. Shraddha is common. You must have Shraddha in the Veda, you must have Shraddha in the Veda. Without that, you don't go anywhere. And here you have Shraddha in the Veda and the Ritviks who perform the rituals. Here you have Shraddha in the Veda and the Guru Vakya. That is the Adhikaritvam. You gain Vairagya through an understanding that what you are seeking is Purnatvam. Everything else pales in comparison into nothingness. And therefore, a desirelessness. There is only one desire left, and that is to understand that jnanam and gain moksha. No other desire. So, in every one of these four factors, Anubandha Chatushtaya is very different. How can you then say that karma will produce moksha? There are a lot of people who say that. In fact, if you read Bhashyakara's Bashyam in many places, he spends a lot of time refuting any claim that karma has anything to do with gaining moksha directly. So when people are not able to counter him in his arguments, some people came up with the idea that, oh no, it is a combination of karma and jnana. Jnana karma samuchaya. That also he says, no, karma has nothing to do with it. Have you heard of Mandana Mishra? Mandana Mishra was an out-and-out karmata. And one of the things Shankaracharya did in his yatra, sought out people who are very erudite but had a different point of view, and invited them for a debate. And the condition when he went to Mandana Mishra was very skeptical of Shankaracharya. छोटा सा बच्चा है क्या कर रहा है मालूम मेरे को. So they agreed to have a debate. And the agreed condition was that whoever loses the debate will become a shishya of the other and follow him. And how will you judge such a debate? It's such a high-level debate. Who will judge it? You need somebody of tremendous knowledge and erudition. Such a person they found in Mandana Mishra's wife. I forget her name. And she agreed to be the judge. She was unbiased completely. And the test she devised was, both of them were given a mala, a pushpa mala. And the argument was that anybody who is beginning to lose will start fretting, sweating, temperature going up. So whosoever pushpa mala is withered first is the loser. So 18 days they had continuous debate. That debate is available incidentally. 18 days continuous debate they had. At the end of that, Shankaracharya was declared the winner. And Mandana Mishra, as per their agreement, became his disciple, one of his earliest disciples. And he was given a name, Sureshwaracharya. In fact, there's a story behind this also, The person Shankaracharya went to debate with was another person, Mandana Mishra's guru. So he went searching for him and found him on a funeral pyre. So he said, look, I came to debate with you. You're on a funeral pyre, live. So he said, I was debating with Buddhists. And since I didn't know enough about them, I pretended to be a Buddhist and went to one of their matas to learn their arguments. And learned it, and I was able to refute all their arguments. But then I had a guru there. And because I lied to my guru, I became a guru drohi. And as a prayashchittam, I am jumping into the pyre. But you can debate with my disciple, my best disciple, Mandana Mishra. So he sent him to Mandana Mishra. And then the debate took place. And I don't know what all arguments you use. I don't remember all of them, but this is certainly one of them. That Anubandha Chatushtaya in the Karma Kanda is totally different from the Anubandha Chatushtaya in the Jnana Kanda. Therefore, karma has nothing to do with it. Karma will give you karma phala. Karma is limited. Karma phala is limited. What you're trying to seek is the unlimited. You're trying to get rid of this limitedness in you. You can never do that by doing karma. What we've been studying in the various Upanishads, all the Vedantas and the Upanishads, is the second portion of it, trying to understand the truth of myself, the truth of Ishvara, and the truth of this Jagat. Ultimately, it says they're all one. It takes a two-step approach. It first shows you know the Jagat. At least you think you know the Jagat. And you also know that Jagat is constantly changing. Everything in the Jagat is constantly changing. There must be a constant against which you can say that this is changing. The way it is explained is that there is Ishvara, who is Jagat Karanam, and because Jagat is a Karanam, a product, and no product is different from the cause, Karanam. So it first shows that the entire Jagat is non-separate from Ishvara. Then it takes us to the next step. What is the Ishvara? And how do I look at entire Jagat? I have now given up saying it is a effect. The next step it says that Karanam for the entire Jagat is you. You are the Karanam. You, everything in the Jagat, whether tangible, intangible, near, far, small, big, it doesn't matter. It is only you. That is the difficult portion to understand. Because you have reduced Ishvara, Jagat and you, three things into two, because Jagat and Ishvara have now been made into one. And then you look at what you thought you were. And you examine that. You have this body-mind sense complex. Everything is insentient, jada. They have to be enlivened by something else. I cannot be the jada. Therefore, I must be that which enlivens these things. If this is jada, the body is jada, the mind is jada, the thoughts are jada, the emotions are jada, everything is jada, insentient, then they become part of the jagat. What is left is only the idea of I, that which enlivens all of these things. So this has gone to the jagat. What is left is I, Ishvara, which are the same. So it proves in its own system of proving that Ishvara is Jagat Karanam, that Ishvara and you are the same, therefore you are the Jagat Karanam. We get many parallels to try and understand this. You created the entire Swapna Jagat when you dream from your knowledge only. The knowledge that it acquired while in the waking state, that knowledge becomes the entire Swapna Prapancham. It is projected into a complete Prapancham, world, universe. With that example in mind, we are at least able to conceive of this, that I, Ishvara, is the source of jnanam, called Jna Dhatu Artha, the basis on which the entire Jagat, which consists of the knower, the Jnatru, Jnanam, and the Jneyam, which is to be known. All of them are dependent on this root word Jna. That Jna is I. This is how Shastra, this is one way, Shastra does it in many ways, so that clarity comes to show that I am Jagat Karanam. All this body, mind, sense complex cannot be I. And to establish this in our mind, we go through all the Upanishads. We go through all the Prakarana Granthas, which are also drawn from the Upanishad to show us how this is possible. On the face of it, it looks impossible. I am Jagat Karanam. Swamiji, you're joking. Because it looks impossible. Because I have a concept of I, which I have not been able to get rid of. I very simply put it saying that the I that I thought I was, the body mind sense complex, is jada and therefore part of the Jagat. That idea itself doesn't get absorbed. Therefore, the next step when it says, I am the Jagat Karanam. Everything in the Jagat comes from me. Becomes difficult to grasp. So what does Vedanta do? Vedanta has several methodologies, several prakaranas. And these are used in the various granthas, Upanishads, various prakarana granthas, all of them. And since we accept Ishvara, initially we accept Ishvara as different from me. Why different? Because Ishvara is all knowledge, all power, I am not. So in addition to all of these methodologies, I also require the blessing of Ishvara, who is all knowledge, all power. Therefore, lot of prayer. Bhakti. And critically important, where is this information given? In Vedanta, which is part of the whole Veda. And therefore, I have to accept the Veda as a source of my knowledge, as my pramana. I must have enough Shraddha in the Shastra to be able to accept what it says, even though it goes against everything I thought I knew, and try to understand. With the help of the Shastra itself, of the various methods it has, and the teaching of the Guru. So I have to have Shraddha. If you don't have Shraddha in that, there is no way you can understand this. Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Only when you have the Shraddha in that. Anything you do, even in the Jagat, unless you have the Shraddha that you can do it, you can be sure that you will not be able to succeed. Very difficult. I told in another class, I remember, I used to do high jump. And every time I did a level, my coach would raise it another inch. Those days we used to work in inches. And he would tell me the same thing. You can do it. You can do it. Try. You know you can do it. Sort of instill that confidence in the Shraddha till he pushed you to the limit. And the same logic. If you don't accept that you can do it, you can't do it. Many things we do in the Jagat, we cannot do it unless we are sure that we can do it. So Shraddha becomes extremely important. What is Shraddha? Acceptance of the words of the Shastra for its absolute correctness. If the Shastra says, you are Jagat Karanam, it doesn't match with my understanding of why. I have to figure out how. Shastra is there to help you. Shastra knows you won't accept it immediately. Shastra will gently nudge you slowly till you begin to understand. Otherwise, all you read is one Upanishad. Because all Upanishads tell you the same thing. Called Samanvaya. The message is exactly the same in every Upanishad. In Brahma Sutra, there is a very beautiful sutra called Tattu Samanvaya. There is Samanvaya. Same message appearing in every Upanishad. Why do I do so many Upanishads? Because of this. I have to have Shraddha that this is a pramana, a source of knowledge, and it cannot be wrong. Our normal experiences are what? What are the source of knowledge that we use? The five senses. That's how we gather information. And it's processed by the buddhi, taking data from your memory and gives you knowledge. This is what it does. If you don't have the data in your memory, you have to find data elsewhere to try and understand this. If somebody shows you a hockey puck and you've never seen one in your life, because in India we don't play ice hockey. This is used in ice hockey. So I may never have heard the word puck. And say, this is the puck. This is what is used in ice hockey instead of a ball. My clarity is from the fact that I see that, my pratyaksha and the shabda that he gives me, because he's a hockey player, that this is what we use in place of a ball while playing ice hockey. Enough. My knowledge has happened. I don't have to do any willful thinking. So any of these five senses can bring you data. That data can be processed with some information taken from memory. That's what we do. Shastra classifies all sources of knowledge into five methods. One is called pratyaksha pramana. Our eyes see black. I know it is black. I have no need to do anything else. It is there in front of the eyes. There is enough light. I know it's black. You smell something very pleasant. Mallipu, jasmine. The nose smells it. And it's a very pleasant smell. And from past memory, your buddhi draws the impression, this is Mallipu, jasmine. Or if it's an unpleasant smell, also same thing. There is a fruit called durian, yeah. Very common in Malaysia and in Singapore. It stinks to high heaven. So much so that in these countries it is not allowed in public. You can't take it in a bus. I remember once when we were studying, that student from Malaysia, she had gone home and come back after her birthday. And when we went to the class, in each of the seats, she put a toffee. Some of us who knew Duran, we walked in. I said, my God, this is not the thing that you want. Some others who didn't know this opened it nicely and put it in their mouth. And you could see all of them running outside and trying to get rid of it. Our senses know. But I take one medicine nowadays, which is prescribed for me. I put it in that box where I keep the weekly medicines, okay? I made a mistake. I shouldn't have taken it out of its original packing. So every time I open the box now, it stinks. That's how our senses work. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, all of them. This is called pratyaksha pramana. Direct understanding, direct knowledge received by the senses, processed by the buddhi, with the help of memory. Then there is anumana. You infer. Here also what? You get some data with your five senses are mandatory. Without senses, nothing you can do. Any one of the senses has to act. And the standard example that Vedanta uses is, if you see smoke billowing out of the mountain, you only see the smoke. What do? You say there is fire in the mountain. It's an inference. You only see the smoke, but you infer fire. Called anumana. Like that, many things we do. Many of the indicators we have in life, in fact, much of our life is dictated by anumana. The car has a puncture. And if here these days with the tubeless tires, you don't have so much of it. In the old days, when you had tube tires, it would go plop, 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 and the car will put to one side. You only hear that and feel it, and you know there's a puncture. You didn't see the puncture. You know the tire is gone. Like that, most of the things we infer. The car itself, you look at the speedometer and it says 40 kilometers an hour. So you infer that you're going at 40 kilometers an hour. You don't know. Everything is like that. A third method of gaining knowledge is called upamana. You show something which the hearer knows, but it's not the object that you're trying to explain to the hearer. I give you the example of hockey puck. Somebody who's never seen a hockey puck. You take a carom striker and show it to him. It is something like this, but bigger and thicker. So he is able to get that knowledge of the instrument that is used in ice hockey for playing, because he knows a carom striker. Upamana. Like that, there are many places we learn something by example. We know something, and that something has certain commonalities with that which you're trying to learn. For upamana. A fourth method of learning is called Arthapatti. Otherwise, not possible. I can't think of a better example than the one that Swami used to use. If you go to Punjab, you get something called Kada Prasad. Very heavy stuff. Lot of ghee in it. Very filling. Now you're with somebody in Punjab, all day you're with him. And he's on a fast. He's on a fast, and therefore you know that he doesn't eat anything during the day because you're with him all day. So one observation through your pratyaksha says that he is not eating anything during the day when you're with him. And this goes on for 40, 50 days. At the end of it, you also observe that he doesn't lose weight. Again, pratyaksha jnana. He doesn't lose weight. So two different inputs to your pratyaksha. And what is the conclusion? What is the inference you draw? A multi-step inference if you want. Otherwise not possible. Therefore, he must be eating at night. This is called Arthapatti. And the last one, again very interesting, called Anupalabdhi. Upalabdhi is what is present. Anupalabdhi is what is not present. In my hand, if you look under a microscope, there are a lot of jivas. But as it is, I can't see them. But I can see that I don't have an elephant in my hand. At this time, here, I don't have an elephant in my hand. Anupalabdhi. That is also jnana. But it is restricted to at that time in that place. Anupalabdhi. If these are the only ways we gain any knowledge, how are we ever going to gain knowledge of the self? Because there is knowledge of I. All this is very good for gaining knowledge of any object outside I, non-I. How am I going to gain knowledge of I? Because I is not available to any of the senses. Why is it not available? I is the subject. That subject tries to learn about an object using a pramana. And because this is I, none of these will help. Remember, in all of these five that Shastra lists, an essential ingredient is senses, pratyaksha. Whether it is direct pratyaksha jnanam or it is anumana, there also you need some input through the senses. Or upamana, there also you need the inputs from the senses. Or arthapatti, more input is required. Or anupalabdhi, there also you need the input. So none of this will work without the senses sensing data. That is why when somebody asks me, is Vedanta scientific? I very categorically say it is not. Because science depends on the pratyaksha. You collect data. You enhance your capacity of the eyes and the ears. You use telescopes and microscopes and all the other instruments that you can use. And that data that you process. But I the self is not available to any of these. How are you going to find anything? So some people say it is external data, all objects, and I is about internal data. There's no internal external data. I has nothing to do with internal external. So I is not scientific. You tell me every scientific fact that has been established over time has undergone change, has it not? Every single so-called scientific fact has undergone change. I cannot undergo change. I has to be constant. So both from the point of view of change and from the point of view that it is not accessible to any of the senses, this cannot be known. So how do I know it then? Why am I putting in all this effort if it cannot be known? Shastra says there is a sixth pramana called Shastra Pramana. If you accept Shastra as a source of knowledge, as unfolded by a guru who is competent to unfold it, then you have a possibility of knowing the reality of I. Shastra itself says it is not only not available for senses, it is not available for words also. And here we are saying Shabda Pramana. Shastra Pramana is only Shabda. Therefore, if you only take the Shastra and say, I will study it myself, I am a very intelligent person, I know language, it will remain what is called Apara Vidya. It will never become true knowledge of the self. So what is required? What is required is also a guru who can unfold it in the methodology that has been established by the same Shastra. So when I approach a guru with the right attitude, tad vitti pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya, with an attitude of wanting to know, not with the attitude. Many times people come to me and ask, this is, I want to know this. But they start from here. I know everything, now you tell me how to do it. It'll never work. If you come with that attitude, it'll never work. Tad viddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Tad vijnanartham gurumeva abhigachet. Go to a guru with the right attitude, samit panihi, with samit in your hand, asking, I want to know. Please teach me. What kind of guru? Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. One who is a guru who has learnt it from the parampara, because there's no other way of learning it. He must have learnt it by his guru, otherwise you can't learn it. So one who has learnt it in the parampara with his guru, who's learned it from his guru, who's learned it from his guru, and so on and so on and so on, till you come to Dakshinamurti as a Prathama Guru. I told you yesterday, this knowledge is a Pravaha Nityatvam. With every kalpa, this comes back as manifest. And is, with every kalpa means every Brahmaji. Every kalpa is a new Brahmaji. And a new set of rishis who are able to see this and therefore become the conduits for teaching their shishyas, who in turn teach their shishya, etc. Therefore, this Upanishad we are going to look at, called Kenopanishad, also falls in the same mold. Every Upanishad looks at this knowledge from a different angle, helps us to think it through. And this Upanishad also has its own style of teaching. Every Upanishad is also a dialogue between teacher and student. And the teacher who has learnt it correctly, not only the jnanam, has also learned the methodology of teaching, then teaches this. We will look at it in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
हरि ओम स्वामी जी, हरि ओम।
धन्यवाद स्वामी जी।
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
ಹರಿ
ओम
ಓಂ
स्वामी जी।